classes together. Yeah, I pay it. I'm just out wondering because I paid up front.
Okay, good. So Bezrat
I
Hashem.
signed up and
Yeah, you did online, so that's the easiest for us also. I did it for you.
You did it.
I did it for you. Okay, good. Bezrat Hashem. So here it is. I Googled Rav Kook on Shavuos because we're approaching. Figured, okay, let's see what we can do from him. So I normally when it's not holiday times, I follow the collected writings of Rav Kook, but because we're in the time period between Passover and Shavuot and this period called Sfirat Omer, so I figured I've been giving things like this. And now what I came across is something that, what's his name? Mermelstein, Evan Shoshan. What's his name? No, Rav Kook.
You mean
Yitzchak.
Yitzchak. I saw him yesterday at the supermarket.
Cool. Okay. So he put something. So when I Googled like, okay, which book am I going to pull out of my shelf? But then he has something on Facebook and he has it as a paragraph. Figured, okay, it's nice, it's sweet. So we're just going to do this, okay? And it's Rav Kook that explains Na'aseh vNishma. Na'aseh vNishma, what does that mean? We will do and we will hear. This is the famous illogical phrase that the Jewish people said when Moses was about to give them the Torah. Are you going to receive it? He says, we will do and we will listen. Now, normally you have to listen before you do. How are you going to do if you don't hear what you need to be doing? But there's a lot of there's a lot of different ways of understanding this. So we're just going to now go to how Rav Kook explains it. כל דבר החקוק בטבע אינו צריך להשמיע וללמוד. Anything that is engraved in nature, that it's part of its nature to be the way it is, doesn't need to hear and doesn't need to learn to be what it is. It's like the plant knows naturally to go towards the sun. Animals know what their food is. We can eat all kinds of variety of food, but a cow is happy to graze on grass for all its life. It doesn't need variety. It doesn't need to add Tabasco sauce to it or soy sauce or anything. It is what it is. And every animal knows what will nourish it and the right environment that will make it thrive. And that's true for all of God's creatures on earth. They know it's built into their system. They don't have to be taught it. They don't have to hear anything. They just do what they do. הדבורה בונה את תאי קברתה בדיוק המספרי היותר שלם. The bee builds its, hive with exact precision, exact numerical precision, number precision, in the most complete way of how hives are made. Architects can go and learn from the bee. Without going to architect school, it just knows. Or interior design, or interior architecture. Yeah? I did not know that. It's so lovely finding new things about you. It's amazing. So without listening to any without hearing any lessons on it of engineering. No, bees do not need to go to any course on engineering. Because this is what is engraved in her nature. And in the spiritual realm, and in the spiritual realms, what do we call the beings in the spiritual realms? Angels. They also don't need to go to school to know how to be an angel. They're spiritual beings, and they do not need hearing to proceed their doing. They just know to do without hearing an instruction You have to do. They just know to be. Whatever. Wait a second. So how come so now we get it, but human beings need. So how come in Har Sinai, when God received the Torah, how come we switch the order? How come we also spoke Shmiah? Spoke hearing before doing. Because as far as the angels are concerned, their holiness is natural to them. Only people who are prone to be perplexed, perplexed through. Now, this is let me play this with you for a second. Before I tell you how he finishes a sentence, how would you finish the sentence, given everything that we said? Only human beings that are likely to be perplexed through the confusion of choices that are in front of them, or what else? What makes us perplexed? All kinds of chatter in our mind. Where did the chatter come from? All kinds of internal voices. I have my mother, I have my grade 6 teacher, I have my bully brother, all kinds of noises, chatter that define my understanding of myself in this world until I unpack and go to therapy and figure it out. But what did you say? The way we're conditioned to think, and then we go into real life, and it's like, this is not real life, how I've been conditioned. I'm not always supposed to sit and be proper and hold my hands and no, the world will eat me up if I'm like that.
We had something else unnatural at that time. We saw the kolot.
We saw the sounds and we heard the sights and the revelation of Sinai.
So it was also at that time.
Cool. So that is a very deep thing that you're saying, that you're connecting to this Na'aseh vNishma. I don't know how it relates. I have to think about it. Do you have a way to connect it? How does seeing the sound brings perplexity into confusing us and needing to go through a lesson to say, this is how you should do before you start doing something? Of Na'aseh vNishma.
Naturally, Hashem didn't put that into our ability.
Naturally, except that when we're standing on Har Sinai, it was natural for us to see sound. Is it natural to see sound? Do sounds have a sight? We know now that they do. We can graph sound. They're called sonographs. Is that what they're called? Graphs that map out sound? Sonographs, right? I got that right. Give me 5. I finally got something right. So they were so spiritual. I'm sorry, at the time of revelation, by the time they got to Har Sinai, what made them able to receive the Torah was they had nothing obstructing the revelation. Revelation happens all the time. It's not a one-time event. God is always communicating to us. Why don't we see it? So we don't, from a blessing of Hashem that says die, that if we're always going to be open to it, it's going to drive us insane. There's got to be a point where we can just like filter it in a manageable way, that we can still maintain individuality in our own body and have a physical presence. We're not just spirits, we're a spirit in a body that has to live in this world. But at the moment of Har Sinai, everything that was normally plugged from experiencing divinity and godliness was unplugged. We were partook of the experience. With full disclosure, is that the right way to use this now? I don't know why it came to me. Yeah, nothing was closed off for us. We had an experience of God as it was in the Garden of Eden before the mess of eating from the tree. But lost that experience of God consciousness. Oneness, right. that the spiritual was infusing the physical, and the physical was reflecting the spiritual, and there was no conflict between the physical and the spiritual. It was just one beautiful flow of divinity. Okay, so now here listen to how he finished the sentence. רק בני אדם העלולים להיות נבוכים על ידי מהומות המדע המזויף. Help me translate that. Only people that are prone to be perplexed through the mehumot, the noise, the abundance of false science, counterfeit science, counterfeit nature. Why is he calling science counterfeit? Because scientists like to live in a logical realm of cause and effect from an experiential place. Don't confuse me with things that have nothing to do that cannot be proven. And so they take away faith from nature. So it's mezuyaf, because the premise of science is there's a lot of truth in science, but if the premise is it created itself, then it's a premise that's going to send our soul going in the wrong directions, and that's what alienation is, and what's the point of it all? It takes the designer out of the design. So it's mezuyaf, it's counterfeit nature. It's like what they're passing off as science. It's not really science. I mean, we call it science, but it's not real nature as God created it. It is, but it isn't. You know what I'm talking about? Did I lose you? Let me finish the sentence here. Because of all of this false information that we have, all kinds of academic talk, and how we relate to the natural world scientifically, divorcing it from God, from its source. So we have to, because of that, we have to have much effort, to return to the nature, the pure nature, to the pure soulful nature that every living creature has in this world. Because why? Why does it mean even a plant has, according to Judaism, according to the Torah, even plants, even rocks have a living soul to it. That God created everything with a living soul. Inanimate objects have a very simple, not complex, living soul, and that a rock is a rock, but it has atoms and nucleus and all kinds of activity and motions inside that's maintaining its structure as a rock. And if that soul would be removed from it, that energy, it would be nothing. It wouldn't be what's making a rock? The molecules together to be able to say that this is a rock. There's an energy life force that's maintaining it. The more you move up in the classifications in order of things in this world, and you move up from inanimate to plants, more complex than a rock, but it has its own living soul to it that defines it as something that's in the plant kingdom. And then above that are animals. So the living soul, the life force within plants is enough to move their stem towards the sun and to shoot out roots, but it can't get up and walk. There's no walking plants. But animals, once you get up to in the classification, you get to the animal world, you have a life force there that can decide which way to scram, which way to go in which direction. And all kinds of things like that. They have more will in their life force. And once you get to humans, the life force can take us even to beyond the stars. We can think with our mind. We don't only exist physically like the mineral, and we move and needs all kind of nourishment like the plants, and move around like the animals. We also are able to think and have empathy. The life force within a person can take us beyond our own self-interest, to consider others, to be social activists and care and do things for another. So the higher you go, the more complex, the more life force it is. And he's saying that science, and as if counterfeit science, removes the life force, disengages the life force from the items that they're examining in the lab. It's the premises that the scientists approach science, because it's pure. So he said we have to return to the pure nature as God created it. There's a life energy and a life force within everything that we can relate to, and it could be a springboard for a relationship, a deeper relationship with God. Everything in this world, having been created by God, can be a springboard to relate back to God. Let's wait for them to move. Moving right along.
Science is truth, but half truth. And half truth,
because depends what the
projects a
false
picture.
False
right.
picture.
Missing the other components.
Yeah, right.
It's the life source.
Right, the life source. Good. Now, so that's the section he brings Yitzchak Mermelstein from Rav Kook, and now we have to figure out, what does this have to do with Na'aseh and vNishma? What have we learned so far? Let's remind ourselves that everything in nature, in this world, doesn't need to go through a school telling it what to be. It's naturally implied in it's engraved in it. It's part of its makeup. It's instinctive, right? But humans, we can go in all kinds of directions and go against our nature. There's a normal amount to eat. So why are you overeating, or are you undereating, or why there's healthy foods. There's not, you can handle a bit of chocolate. It's good. It's healthy. It's good. Ben and Jerry's at midnight. That's good. But not like, no, sometimes it's the right thing to eat in the right moment, and it's good. It calms you. It brings comfort. It's good. But then we can just go in all kinds of directions. And so human beings need to have a shmiyah. We need to learn. That's what they teach us. That's the early childhood care. It's teaching us about sharing, about saying thank you. We have to learn how to function as mentioned in this world, right? To be appropriate human beings. Otherwise, we're beasts. Sheyesh mashu. Now, Yitzchak Mermelstein is explaining this now. Sheyesh mashu shu TV. When something is natural to us, you don't need to learn it. You simply do it because it's part of your makeup, part of your existence. However, but in the reality that we occupy, we see that we see in the reality we live in, even the most simplest things, people try to engineer. It's simple. But no, I have to be like complex. We get messy. We get messy. But this is not something that's correct, and it's something that just creates problems, complex problems, not simple problems. Na'aseh vNishma, the statement that the Jewish people said we will do and we will hear. זו קריאה שמבקשת מכולנו לחזור למציאות של אמת. I don't know if this is Rav Kook or this is Yitzchak on Rav Kook at this point. No, it's Yitzchak on Rav Kook. He's doing a very good job, I have to say. Na'aseh זו קריאה שמבקשת is a call for each one of us to return to the true reality of who we are. אם יש משהו שמורה את נפשנו, if there's something that awakens up our soul, we have to simply go with it. Trust that inner voice of soul that says, go with it. Don't hold that back. What would be the voices of holding back, of going from it? What are people? But fear of what? What are people going to say? Am I going to make a mistake? We stop trusting our spiritual instincts. And we have to just go about it without any calculations of what anybody would say. I had this moment with myself today. I discovered I really have a lot of empathy. And sometimes, no, really, I feel people and I trip up because I don't know to set boundaries within myself. And I can't stand the person and I get too much, even if at my own expense. It was interesting to discover this about myself. And because then I don't want them to feel bad or hurt, and so I have to feel like I have to just be everything for them. No, it's like it's all wrong. It's all wrong. So I have to even knowing to say die. We're going back to that die. To trust the spiritual instinct of what's healthy spiritually for me, for my spirit inside my how I carry myself. We have to be able to. It should be being who we are meant to be. Should be the most natural thing in the world for us to be, and somehow our conditioning moved us away from what would be natural to us. And now in later years with therapy and Torah classes and who knows how many experiences of pain we have to go through, is to rediscover who I really am and what works for me, what doesn't work for me. And this is correct. And this is, in this way, I am aligned. Yes, with my spirit, with God, this is what I need. So Rav Kook is saying we have to free ourselves from everything that's making us complicated to be who we are meant to be. It should be the most simple thing, most simplest thing. And we have to function from bli chashbonot, without any chashbonos. How do you translate that? Calculations, but calculations of a
Assessing.
no, but in a messy way, making the wrong calculations. Okay. Bli interesting. Over processing and also bringing in factors that have nothing to do with it. This is good for you. If the person, you'll say it in a sweet way, but if that person can't handle it, it's their problem. It's not on you. Don't own it. You have to be, right? As an example, don't make correct calculations of what's good for you, where you're going to find yourself with an open heart and living aligned with yourself. Happy, comfortable with your own skin. Bli interesting, without any self-interest, without any interest, without any agendas. My agenda should be, I want to be integral to myself, have integrity and authenticity and open heart. Pashut lasot ki ze chelek mitanu, simply to do it because it's part of us. So in vNishma, what he's saying here is that we stood at Mount Sinai, at the foot of Mount Sinai, receiving the Torah. We got that. What did our sages tell us? That anyone who was maimed was healed. If they were blind, there was no blind, there was no cripple, there was no hunchback. Everything was fixed on the physical level, and also emotionally we were fixed, and spiritually we were ready. We were vessels ready to receive all of that light and love and revelation of Hashem called the Torah. Now, in this time period between Pesach and Shavuot, that's what we're doing. We're trying to get our vessels ready. We're in tune to what's off with our personality, just to bring mindful to us. We're not going to fix everything overnight, but just bringing mindfulness one day at a time. There's 49 days between Passover and Shavuot, and every day we examine a different permutation of the Sfirot, how they work in our character traits and our personality, and we see where it meets up with us. Do some serious thinking with yourself and journaling and praying and say, okay, I see where I'm off with this, or I see where I'm okay with this. And by the time we get to Har Sinai, we're like more ready, more able to receive. Not ha.
Thank you for your notes every day, but sometimes I lose it and it becomes a
No, that's okay.
From that to this one and that.
You could have asked me to send it to you separate.
No. Mishmash in me.
Oh, okay.
Very clear from you.
Sweetheart, okay, I want to tell you something. Mindfulness.
Build it up in the end.
All you have to do is take one item.
Say the verses.
Listen, with what I share, just take one thing from it. Think about it for 2 minutes, 1 minute. It's enough.
Yeah,
it's enough. It's enough of an effect. Like you became mindful. Your soul got the memo. And the next time you meet up with the challenge of it or the experience of where that shows up, somewhere your neshama heard the
Maybe
tikkun of it, it comes up.
naturally.
It comes up. It comes up even without learning the notes, because that's what Chazal teach us. That every conversations of every day reflects the meaning of the day, whether we understand it or not. So even if you don't know, God sends you the experience that you have to go through on that day for that midah,
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
because it's the energy of the day. Okay. Thank you.
It gets fixed whether you want to. What? It gets fixed whether